Give me just a minute, guys. I gotta park.
Has sent a family. That's a minute away, but first, another wildfire starting in Northern California this week.
Give me just a minute.
Into the financial challenges, a little over $10 million left in the California firefighting budget. The state believing they'll need hundreds of millions of dollars to fight fires through the end of the year. Where will Florence go? Now, weak into a tropical storm, but will get stronger by the next week when it could affect the East Coast. This weekend, though, from Missouri to Ohio, a whole lot of rain, a lot more.
Hold on, let me get parked.
What's left?
Get things set up here. I got running late this morning. My daughter insisted on wanting to ride her bike to school, and then it was raining, and then, well, since she couldn't ride her bike to school, I had to eat breakfast with her. So, I didn't get to eat breakfast, but I was supposed to. Got to talk to the school, and they never have enough breakfast for those kiddos. So, I wasn't about to eat any food that needed to go to little kiddos. So, okay, I know my haircut makes me look like a boy. My husband doesn't like it. It will grow out, people. I am not a woman dressing like a man. I'm not a cross-dresser or anything like that. I was accused of being a cross-dresser the other day. Not a cross-dresser. My girls... someone made a comment about me wearing makeup. Guys, I can't wear makeup. I'm so highly allergic to it. My eyes would be swollen. I just can't. I've tried different things, hyperallergenic things. So, here's the problem, and here's the fun part. I have had 5 daughters, and my poor husband, because I've always been so allergic to makeup and stuff, he has always been their practice person. So, my husband... He wears the makeup for me. They get to practice on him and all this stuff. And, well, you got to imagine, though, he's got this big white beard and white hair. And one day, my 6-year-old he can sleep right through it. So he's sleeping while she's doing his makeup. And he completely forgot about checking it one day. And I had asked him to go to the store to pick up some meds. And he goes and he shows up to the pharmacy. And they're all giving him this strange look. He had fallen asleep and didn't know she'd... Okay. Somebody interrupted me with a phone call. I had to say no, thank you. I get them all the time. Hey. Okay, so I was telling you about my husband. My daughter is putting makeup on him, right? Well, he had fallen asleep one day, and my 6-year-old decided to play makeup. And he slept right through it. That's the funny part. And so he goes to the pharmacy, and everybody's giving him all these looks like, okay, you know. And so he stands up, and the pharmacy guy they talk and hem-haw all the time, right? So he walks up, and he goes, so, your little girl practicing makeup again? He goes, yeah, she does that all the time. He goes, she hasn't done it today. And he goes, so you just go around with a pink beard and eyeshadow? And he's like, what are you talking about? He runs to the bathroom, and sees himself in the mirror, and he's got this pink and purple beard, and he's got all this. It was so funny. So he's in the bathroom trying to wash all the stuff off, and the pink won't come out of his beard. So he comes back out to the pharmacy guy, and he goes, how do I get the pink out of my beard? It was hilarious. Okay, so my poor husband has had to endure wearing makeup because I'm so allergic to it. I wish I had seen it that day, because I would have definitely took pictures and posted it all over Facebook, because it was hilarious for days. And what's funny is that Sunday he had to preach, and we could not, I don't know what she used. I think it was a cheap lipstick, and she had ingrained it into his beard so bad that it had stained it. And so he had to preach that Sunday with a pink beard. It's so funny. It finally washed out, but it was hilarious. My poor husband, he has really endured a lot when it comes to my girls and their makeup. So, and he lets him play with his hair and stuff like that. So, anyways, but God is still working on us, and He works on me every single day. I never claim to be perfect. I never claim to be anything that I'm not. I am a sinner saved by the grace of God, and that is all. I will make mistakes. I'm not a perfect parent. I am not a perfect mother. I am not a perfect wife. But I do believe in studying to show myself approved. Yes, he was a pink-bearded pastor that day. He was hilarious. Anyways, so I will try to be on here between 8:30 and 9 o'clock every morning. If I'm ever past 9:30, I won't be on for the day. So, but I would like to talk about this morning a little bit. There's been a lot of stuff going on Facebook. I don't get into the drama, guys. You can tag me on stuff, but when it comes to your personal stuff and things that you're dealing with, keep it personal, guys. Listen, God commands us in the Bible that if you have an ought with somebody, you go to that person, just that person. You don't make it public and everybody else's business, okay? So you have a problem with somebody, you go to that person, okay? Same principle works in our churches, guys. You know why we get so many people disheartened in churches and everybody going around saying, oh, there's hypocrites in churches? Look in the mirror, guys, because God says if you've got a problem with somebody, you're supposed to go to that person, okay? You know why we sit there and have our hurt feelings and our, I think she doesn't like me, and all that bickering and stuff, and petty stuff is really what it is. We sit there and we petty, but the thing is, guys, God says you have an ought with a person, okay? He says you're supposed to go and talk to that person, okay? Sit down with them. It doesn't have to be some big thing. It just says you have an ought. That means a problem or a feeling or, you know, there's something, an issue going on. You've got a problem with somebody. You go to that person and you say, hey, I'm feeling this way. I need, you tell them how you feel and what you need, okay? And if that doesn't work and the problem continues, then you bring your spouse or somebody else that you're close to, not a stranger, okay? It says to bring somebody else. You bring one or two witnesses, in other words, somebody else to kind of like mediate and who's not in the situation but can be partial, not biased, and help you to be able to make it right. And if you can't make it right, then you agree to disagree, okay? But God, people, you don't drag things out like this. You don't make it. You know why so many people get disheartened with churches and get so disappointed in people because they put their trust and their thoughts and their beliefs in a person, not in what God teaches, okay? So never put, and my husband will be the first person to tell you if he preaches something that isn't right, okay, that isn't right, you study to show thyself approved, go to him, show him from the scriptures, you know, because he's not perfect. He's a human being who studies his Bible, my husband studies many hours working on his sermons, but his thing is, you are supposed to study to show thyself approved. You've got a problem with something, you make sure to bring it to his attention. He's not a mind reader. I'm not a mind reader. You've got a problem with me, an ought with me, you come to me, okay? More than happy to discuss it with you. But if I see people not getting along in church, I may pull somebody aside and say, look, you know, your disagreement with whoever it is you're upset with is causing a rift in the church. So I encourage them to do the biblical thing and go talk to that person, okay? And if she needs help or they need help going and talking to this person, I volunteer to be that person that they bring to talk to them. But I encourage them to go first by themselves to make it right. Why? Because that's our testimony. We're supposed to be able to be conflict management people. We're supposed to be able to rise above conflict without bringing everybody else down around us, okay? If we can't handle a simple conflict, then how can we be expected to help other people with their problems? How can we help our community with their problems if we can't even handle in-house our own problems? Okay, so the thing is, I'm not about drama, but I am about right and wrong. Okay, so if I'm not involved in somebody or somebody's movement, just leave me out of it, guys, because I'm not going to pick a side. I'm not like that. Not at all. I don't know what's going on, so my thing is, my advice is, you've got a problem with somebody, you go to that person. You don't blast it all over Facebook. You don't bully people all over Facebook. You don't drag 200-300 people into your conflict. That's not biblical, guys. That's not biblical. I'm sorry. And this thing about, well, I want to expose them. Okay, but that's not how you're supposed to do it. They're not in a church setting. You're not supposed to do it that way. I don't believe in doing it that way, because that's a bad testimony on what you're trying to do. Okay? And if you can't resolve your own conflict within your own group, how are you expected to resolve other people's conflicts and help other people if you can't do it yourself? Okay? That doesn't show a very good testimony, people. You've got to be able to conflict management. Remember, speak truth at all times. And if you make a mistake, just say, look, I'm human, I make mistakes. You know, if it is truly a mistake. If somebody brings something to my attention and I've messed up, I'm not too prideful to say, oh, I never messed up. No, absolutely. I am the first person to tell people, hey, if I'm doing something wrong or I've done something to offend you, please, by all means, tell me. Okay? I'm that type of person. So, and same thing with my clients. I tell them, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm not always going to say the most positive things. Sometimes I say things before I think and hurt people's feelings. But if I don't know that I hurt their feelings, how am I supposed to handle that? Okay? So that's why God says, if you have an ought with somebody, tell them. Why? Because they may not even know you have a problem. And if they don't know you have a problem with them, they're just going to keep on going like there's nothing wrong. Why? Because they don't know that something's wrong. So that's why God tells us, we have an ought with somebody, we are to go to that person, not everybody else around them. Okay? That's backbiting, that's causing discernment in the groups or in the ranks or in the church. That's not how you handle things, people. Now, if they're doing something that is sinful, God says that then and only then do you bring it before the public. In other words, to your church members, or to, if you're working in a group or a movement or something like that. That is the only time that you bring it to the attention of everybody else without it being private, is when they're living in sin. They're doing something sinful, okay? And they need to repent from it. If they're not doing that, then you're supposed to handle it personally, privately. Why? Because it hurts your testimony. It really does. It hurts your credibility. It hurts your ability to be able to help others, okay, if you can't help yourself. Okay, does that make sense, guys? I'm more of a conflict management type person, one-on-one. I'm not really, I try to explain things, and I think I explain them well enough, and then I get bombarded with a bunch of questions. So if you have any questions of what I'm trying to say, please ask me now so that I can answer, because I may just left something out and thought I said it. So I hope that I explained that properly. I should have had the scriptures in front of me to quote it for you, but I don't. I just remember it's in the New Testament where God tells us that if you have an ought with somebody, you're supposed to go to that person. I just don't remember which scripture it is. But anyways, but I am going to get to the part. I went last week and we've talked about the rewards and consequences. This, I wanted to touch on, we touched on couches, on how to have communication with your kiddos. I think Monday I'm going to come on and I'm going to have a couple samples of a chore chart. And I may even bring our consequence and rewards jar so that you can see what they look like. And that way, if you guys want to start implementing that and trying to help that with your kiddos, I think it might help a lot of those that struggle with kids that don't want to do anything. They're too lazy. We're all lazy human beings. We really are. We have to have motivation to get started. So children are the same way. Unless they have a motivation, they don't see the purpose of doing it. I have my 6-year-old all the time. Why do I have to make my bed? I'm just going to crawl back in it tonight when I go to bed. You know, I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like, you know what? You know, my mom made me make my bed every day. That's why I made my daughter make her bed every day. So they make their bed, they don't make their bed, I'm not going to stress over it. Because I'm just like them. They're just going to crawl back in it that night. It's no big deal. So some things, yes, if you're one of those type of parents that make them make their bed every morning when they get up, okay, make them make their bed, but I really don't see the purpose of it. If they don't want to, I don't stress over it. But as long as their room is clean, their toys are picked up, so that in the middle of the night when I come check on them, I don't trip and fall. See, that's important to me. Not tripping and falling over toys, okay? Because I have to check on my kiddos 2 or 3 times in the night. I don't sleep well at night. I check on my kiddos 2 or 3 times in the night. So, to me, it's important not to have toys on the floor. So, but anyways, this is going to be a great weekend. I usually don't come on here on the weekends, guys, so I will be back here on Monday morning, probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I don't think I have any appointments on Monday. So we're going to talk about chore charts on Monday, how to implement the chore charts with the rewards and consequence jar, okay? And this is really successful with children's homes, when you have multiple children in the home. You can even do it when you have just a single child in the home. Makes them feel important, makes them feel responsible. So that's what I'm thinking about doing on Monday. So God bless you guys. You have a great weekend. I still answer my instant messengers, so if you have any questions or you want to talk with me, just instant message me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you guys. Okay? All right. You guys have a great day, and God bless you. Bye.